Managing a toxic creative director is a significant challenge that requires a blend of emotional intelligence. You see, if you are not smart, if you are not wise, we make sure that they discourage you, they will make sure they brutalize your confidence. For you to manage them, you need strategic communication and as well as professional boundaries. If you want to know how to manage a toxic creative director, follow me. Number one, document everything for objective clarity. See, if you don't do this one, you're on your own. They will mess you up. A toxic leader often operate on subjective criticism. They normally shift goalposts. If they tell you something here today, they will tell you another one tomorrow. Some of them will approve a job for you, but when you get to the meeting, they will shift the goalposts and start blaming you that you did not share the work with them. I've seen it several times happening in the industry where someone bounce off an idea with the creative director and the creative director approve it, and when they get to the meeting, when client was now lashing out at them, the director turned against the subordinate and said, "No, did I approve this? Why didn't you share with me?" And he threw that person under the bus. There are so many of them like that. They shift goalposts, they will gaslight you. For you to combat this is by creating an objective trail. And how do you do this? After every meeting or feedback from client, make sure you document everything. Send email where you summarize all the key decisions and objectives or directives as the case may be. For instance, hi director, following our chat with these people and these people, this is what they said, these are their feedback, and this is what we agree in our brainstorming section. Don't say because I'm an art director, I don't want to take notes. I beg, take notes. If not, they will mess you up. But nowadays, everything is even good. Record it. It ensures that you guys are on the same page, and it will protect you from blame. Because that person, that company is always ready to blame you for every little thing. Number two, choose your battles wisely. It's not every battle you fight. That's why I always tell young creatives to understand what is called insubordination, and they need to know how to differentiate between what is your right and insubordination. I remember at the time I used to have this line head who would sleep out of the maybe 8 hours that we use in the office. He could sleep for 4 hours or 6 hours. He will share all the work, he will get his own, and by the time we are ready to submit all our work, he will still be on that particular one task that was given to him. And by the next day, he's sharing that same unfinished task from the previous day with us. So he has been doing this, burdening us with a lot of things. One day, I got to a point where I couldn't take it again and I got mad. Instead of me to go straight to report him to our creative director, I raised my voice. He used that against me, reported me to our creative director, and was blamed. And since then, I've known how to choose my battle wisely. Not every hill is worth dying on. You see, toxic personality thrives on conflict and domination. By strategically conceding on minor points, you conserve energy for the issue that really matters to the project's quality and your team well-being. It's better to maintain peace, build a silver of goodwill for when you need to push back on a critical issue. Learn how to choose your battle wisely. Number three is to reframe subjective criticism into actionable feedback. You see, feedback is often personal. They will come if you do a job, all they will say is that this is bad, I don't like it. Instead of them to say, oh yes, I've seen what you've done, but I don't think this is working yet, let us take it back. I've worked with some of the best creative directors before who will say, and this is a good attempt, this is a good attempt, but you can still do more. Do it this way. They will give you direction. But these ones, they will tell you it's bad, and they will never give you an idea of how to execute it better. They will always tell you that your work is bad. Someone confided in me at the time, a young copywriter, told me that there's nothing he has ever done that is ever good in the eyes of his line head, that she will always condemn it. They will never come with anything constructive. They will always come with something destructive. And the best way to force clarity is by asking specific solution-oriented questions. And you said, don't go and be getting mad when they say this is bad, I don't like it and all that. Don't get mad, because he will use it against you. Instead of asking your creative director or your line head who is toxic that, why don't you like it now? Just tell him, sir, I want you to look at this thing. I know that you may not like this. Can you please help me with your own wealth of experience? I always study your job, and I believe that the idea you give me now will help me. Some way, we still tell you that, what's my concern? Try as much as possible to correct the signal. Because you have to meet the goal of the project. You have to meet that deadline. Because if you don't meet that deadline, at the end of the day, he will still put the blame, he or she will still put the blame on you. Your tone needs to be very, very reassuring. What you are trying to do is to shift the conversation from personal taste to project goals and make their instruction clearer. You are now looking at it also from their own point of view. You are looking at it and say, oh, sir, based on the goal of the project, I was thinking like this, but I know that by the time you help me, clarify it will be better. You see it from his own point of view, because if not, when they come and mess you up, so you need to be very, very very careful. Number 4, leverage their goals and ego. You see all these way that are very toxic, their ego, United States law. Their ego is very big. Toxic creative director is typically driven by a desire for recognition and success. You need to frame your ideas and feedback in the context of their success. That's why I keep telling young people, don't go out there and just antagonize your boss. I'm going to show you Pepe. Go show you Pepe. You need to be careful. You need to learn how to bring your idea or frame your idea and feedback in context of their success. Boss, that's the way you teach me. I just say I should go through that line and come up with this idea. What do you think? Instead of saying, I think we should do this, who are you? You are the creative director. Try this. You can say, how can we make this concept even more award-winning? Because, last time, sir, what you taught us, the idea you championed won that award. How can we do this one now, based on what you did the last time? How can we do it? And you have to look at it and see how we can work it more to be smart. All those way, they need an assurance for their ego. To really make this stand out to the client, what if we try that idea that we did for the concept that won that award last time? The one you give us the idea for. He may not even give you an idea, but you are trying to tell us his ego. You see, this approach aligns your suggestion with his or her motivations and make them more receptive. Woman goni, you understand? Just like when you have the key to a woman's heart and you just caress it and you get into it. That's what you need to do. You need to be very careful because majority of them, they are coming with a baggage of problem from their home. You need to find a way to manage them and caress their ego. Number 5, establish and firmly maintain boundaries. See, let me be honest with you. Toxic behavior often includes unrealistic demand. In order for them to push you out, they give you unrealistic demand. They just want you to achieve something that is not realistic. Sometimes they will tell you that this job has to be done now. You'll be telling them, well, you gave me another thing to complete. Should I leave that one? Leave that one now and see what I will do. They can give you unrealistic demand, expect response at odd hours, or they can berate you in front of your colleagues. They can make you look small in front of everybody. Be in the boardroom and they will tear you down in front of everybody. But don't forget that protecting your time and mental health is non-negotiable. Another person will take your job. If you run mad because of one toxic boss, another person will take up your job. So you need to protect your time and your mental health. It's non-negotiable. And how do you do that? Set clear communication boundaries. I'm offline after 7 p.m. but we address this first thing in the morning. And majority of these toxic people can do it is do this thing at odd hours. They can call you at odd hours when you are with your wife or when you are with your husband. Take unrealistic demands. If they become disrespectful in public, if they try to mess up your mental health, you can calmly say, I can't do this right now, but I'll be happy to discuss it further, one-on-one, to find a solution. This response will demonstrate professionalism and prevent any public humiliation because see, they are ready to humiliate you, they are ready to mess up your job, they are ready to make you look bad. I've seen a lot of people cry, I've seen a lot of people look less of themselves because of some of these toxic things. And I think it's high time that the leadership in most of these agencies look into. I know many of them know about these things, but again, they are trying to protect their business and all that. But don't forget, it will get to a point where all these things will be brought to public glare. Maybe we will start having another VDM of the advertising agency very soon. You never can tell. It's better you try to correct this before it gets out of hand. Because when it has to do with mental health, it has to be looked into. I can give examples of several people who have left the industry because of toxic bosses. Promising creative-minded people who have been reduced to nothing because of one person who doesn't like them. And thank God, majority of them left that agency and they become big. Number 6, you need to build a support coalition. See, you are likely not the only one affected in that space. Building respectful network with your peers will create a unified front and provide emotional support because you are not alone. You need to collaborate with other members to ensure consistency in message and feedback interpretation because this toxic boss can turn it against you. But if you have support here and there, yes, he said it, he told me about it, he even mentioned it, he gave me a report, he did this, he did that. If multiple people are echoing the same calibrated response to the director's behavior, it becomes harder for them to dismiss it as one person's problem. It will also prevent useless lionhead who is toxic from successfully dividing the team. Number 7, which is the most important one, know your exit strategy. You cannot change a toxic person. A toxic person is always a toxic person. If you like, give her or him the whole world. Do everything, work at odd hour. You can only manage your response to them. If the situation is irreparable and damaging your mental health or career, planning an exit is the most powerful form of management. That is the only thing you can do. How can you do this? You need to update your portfolio and resume with strong work you have accomplished in the past. You have to network discreetly. Not always hold you everybody. Don't go and put it in in everybody's face and say, oh, you are looking for a job, and you don't even tell your colleague because they may go ahead to leak your secrets. You have to view the job you are currently working as a stepping stone where you learn immense resilience. And you see, that's one thing. When you have a toxic boss, it will teach you resilience if you are really smart. Leaving a toxic environment for a healthier one is not a defeat. It's a strategic career move for your long-term success and well-being. You need to note all these things if you don't want to run mad because of one useless person. You see, you don't have to endure abuse. Try as much as possible and manage the person. If the person is not conforming, I beg, move. They not tie your umbilical cord to that company. Another company, we appreciate you. There are so many great creative directors in the advertising industry who are very, very great. They are transformative. They are very, very supportive of their subordinates. They never maltreated them. But there are so many of them who are toxic, and they need to be rooted out of this agency. But before they get rooted, please plan your exit strategy and leave if it started affecting your mental health. So don't dull. Always do the right thing.